Well, good day, family. Welcome again to yet another video of the 21st Century Business Podcast. So today I'm getting all personal. I've had a lot of people actually request that I do a video of this nature. And I'm a kind of person who is, I know a lot of people don't believe me when I say this. I'm actually more of an introvert, right? I don't really like to put my business out there, except only if it's going to help the next person. Otherwise, I would really love to keep a lot of this stuff, private. But for the sake of someone out there who might find this inspirational, who might want to take bold steps and, move their lives forward purely because of, being inspired by this particular story. Today, I want us to talk about how I made my first $1 million. Right. So maybe let's start here. So I grew up in Motherwell in a small township on the outskirts of Port Elizabeth. I basically stayed with my grandmother the most part of my life, even though there were some years where I stayed with my mom, my stepdad, and my siblings. I'm the oldest at home. And so I'm the first one at home to actually graduate from university. So you can imagine, coming from that particular background, the kind of pressure that one gets under, because you look at the situation and you feel like, there's nothing and no one who's going to change your situation back at home, your personal situation. It's only yourself who can be able to do that. Now, I remember one day, I was invited by my mother to go and attend. There was a tent crusade. In this tent crusade, it was a gospel crusade. They were preaching. I attended this every single day for about 2 weeks. And then the preacher said, on this particular date, come during the day, we're going to talk about money. So I was like, why not? So I went there, and this guy spoke about a business model called network marketing. Specifically a business called IFA, which is a network marketing business selling, insurance products. So I went there and I listened. And at this particular time, I had just failed my matric. I was in between, anything. I wasn't doing anything. Still trying to figure out, my life, if I'm coming or I'm going. But this gentleman, showed us how he was going to make his first R1 million, through network marketing. And I guess for me, that sort of stuck. I couldn't get involved at the time, even though I would have loved to get involved, because I didn't really have the money. I remember I didn't even have a bank account at that particular time and stage in my life. And but it's sort of like stuck into my head that, okay, so network marketing equals $1 million, right? And this whole idea of $1 million was then hatched, into my brain. So, long story short, I then went to varsity, studied, graduated, started working, got married, and so forth. So, after having been married and, 18 months down the line, I decided to get into entrepreneurship. There were so many other factors surrounding this particular decision, but it's always something that I always wanted. I think it's always something that I've always been. I've always been an entrepreneur, always wanted, to really control my own destiny, so to speak. So when I got into the real estate business, in fact, started with construction. Didn't really work. I didn't really have the right credentials in terms of struggle, credentials. For those of you who are in South Africa, you might understand what I'm talking about. But long story short, I then went into real estate. I contacted a friend who was selling for a particular real estate brand. He hooked me up. They got me started, and I started selling. Within 8 months down the line, I decided, no, man, I can actually start my own business, because I was selling like crazy. And then, started my own real estate brand, bought a Rawson franchise. And even there, it was just, purely, God's hand, leading, because we didn't have the money to start the business, but, we started the business. And I mean, my first month in real estate, I sold 10 properties, which was, phenomenal. Now, over and above that, I'm running this real estate business, and I'm looking at the numbers that we're making, and I've got this dream that I want to be a millionaire. But I soon realized that it was not going to happen through real estate, where I was operating, how I was operating. I then started to look for alternatives. What else can I do? I remember being introduced right back again into network marketing through the IFA business model. Can you believe it? But now by a different gentleman. This now years down the line after I was initially introduced by this particular preacher. So I got into the business and started working. And I mean, I don't know how to do anything half-heartedly. So I gave it my all. I think I spent like a year in the business, but my income was not really getting any better. In fact, I would sign up, let's say 10 people, but only 5 people will pay. The next month, out of that 5, only 1 is left. So it was really not a great experience, right? So I then started looking, what else can I do? I remember a friend of mine introduced me, actually invited me to a conference where they were talking about Bitcoin, they were talking about real estate, they were talking about Forex, and they were also talking about gold. Now, we then, got excited about this whole opportunity and what was possible. And, these guys were making serious money. We then got involved into the gold business, right? So got into the gold business. And whilst in the gold business, I was busy researching about Bitcoin as well. And I was learning a lot. Actually, before, here's the interesting thing. Back in those days, when you research, you try to Google about Bitcoin, the first thing that comes, to you is basically opportunities that you can invest into Bitcoin, right? And I got involved in some of these opportunities. I lost money. I remember the last one I got, or maybe not the last one, but this particular one, it was called BTC Hourly. And it was paying Bitcoins like every hour. And then it also had like these crazy plans. I mean, thinking about it, I was really stupid. That was a stupid decision because, this thing was promising like 3,000% in 14 days, or 2,000% in 8 days, something crazy like that. I put money because I could initially put money and withdraw. So I was like, why not? Maybe I knew this thing was actually going to fly, but I thought it was going to fly maybe, sometime down the line. So I put my money in, literally gambling. And, on the last day before I was supposed to get my income, my bonus, the site just disappeared. I remember trying to log into different devices. The site was just not there. It was gone, of course, with my money. Then I was introduced into network marketing, by a lady. And this network marketing was not your typical network marketing. It didn't have a product that is tangible like your shakes or beauty products or cleaning products or any of the sort. It was basically tied to a Bitcoin mining opportunity. I got involved and, I got excited. I started working. And I remember 2017, I had a look at my diary, which I had written when I was in my second year, 2007, and I had said to myself that by the year 2017, I want to have made my first R1,000,000. This was 10 years, down the line. I said I want to have made my first million in 2017. This date on that particular year, I was going to be turning 35, and I said to myself, that's the year I want to have made my first million, right? I wish I had done that sooner, because when I saw that, at the beginning of the year, still running my real estate business whilst doing my network marketing on the side, when I saw that, I was like, what? This is what I'm going to do. Had a conversation with my wife that we're closing this thing. We're going to focus on the network marketing business. And that's what we did, right? And everybody thought it was crazy focusing on network marketing, closing a business that I was running for the last, 6-7 years, that was taking care of my family. Everybody thought I was crazy. And, I thought I was crazy, but I believed that this was possible. And, so how I make my decisions as far as things like that, I always ask myself, what's the worst that can happen? So if I can live through the worst that can happen, I take the decision, because I look at the potential downside and I look at the potential upside. If the potential upside is appetizing and the potential downside is something that I can live through, I can, overcome, then I take my decision. So now we then devised something called the 90-day game plan, what became affectionately known as the Millionaire Maker strategy. And I remember saying that how this whole plan works is that, you do X amount of work every month, and in the 12-month period, it should actually make you 1 million. So I said to myself, I don't want to wait for the end of the year to realize I did not make my 1 million rand. So we said, okay, what can we do? Let's change this into 1 month to 1 week, so that we've got, at least 2 attempts in a year for us to make them 1 million rand. So, and then we then strategize. We had this whole game plan, how we're going to launch it and how we're going to sustain the momentum and what we're going to do at the end of the 90-day game plan. And we went and launched this in Durban, South Africa. And we sold this vision to everybody. Say, guys, this is what we're doing. And this is the result that we're envisaging. And everybody went on to work this 90-day game plan. Now, the goal was to earn 1 million in 90 days. We knew that the goal was absurd, but we knew that if you attempt with everything we have, even if we don't make the 1 million rand, the change it was going to make in our income and in our business was going to be phenomenal. And, that's the bet we're willing to take. We went for it. I remember, prior to us starting our 90-day game plan, I was not even making like 30 grand a month. But then by the end of that 90-day game plan, in that particular month, which was May 2017, I had made over 350,000 rands. And obviously the business had grown. And then guess what? We had a break of about a month. And then we launched another 90-day game plan. Now with the second 90-day game plan, already, people's lives are changing. People were making money with the previous 90-day game plan, even though none of us actually reached the goal of 1 million in 90 days. But then people's income was changing. Their lives were changing. And guess what? When something like that happens, right? People are normally like the woman at the well who will go out and tell the whole neighborhood and say, come and look, this is what is happening, right? So that's exactly what people did. And then our business grew. By the end of our second 90-day game plan, us targeting to make this 1 million, at the end of that 90-day game plan, I remember the last month, instead of making 1 million in 90 days, in 1 month in November 2017, I made over 2 million rand in that particular month, right? So that's the power of network marketing. That's the power of, really pursuing something that's crazy, setting goals that are really crazy. And now that I look at it, I wish that I had set that goal way much earlier, because I would have then reached my million, way much earlier. Now, and then over and above that, we then, were with this particular company, and then things were not really well in terms of the, what people were able to earn. And then we found an alternative, and we got into the alternative, and we basically employed the same strategy. It was still network marketing. It was still, cryptocurrency mining. We went into this business like you wouldn't believe it. And we gave it our all, employing the very same strategy of the 90-day game plan. And, after a year or 2 years, after 18 months in the second business, the company launched a new token. And this token just simply went through the roof, right? It went through the roof. It took off like crazy. And that's how I was able, because I was earning. Now picture this, right? You are earning, let's say $200, in a particular day, right? You earn your $200, but then a week down the line, those tokens that you got paid in that were worth $200, now they're worth $400, right? How is it that someone was not going to make a lot of money in the process, right? So we had this unfair advantage in the sense that, when we get paid, of course, there was a potential downside where if the price goes down, you got paid in $200 and the price goes to whatever, you can then find yourself, instead of having $200, now you have $100 in your wallet. And we did actually experience, both extremes where, the coin took off, and the value of the money that we're earning was like doubling, over a period of maybe weeks or months. It was crazy. And this was, during the pandemic in 2020, 2021. So this thing went off, but then it sort of hit the peak. and then started falling down, right? Started falling down. So, those who were not converting their coins, saw the value tumbling down. And this is what happens typically in the cryptocurrency market space, where if you don't, if you have these particular tokens and you don't convert them, when you see that the price is going to go down, maybe convert them into a stable coin like USDT or DAI, something like that, or BUSD, and let the price go down. Right, and when the price goes down, you can then take the very same stable coin, go and buy that particular token, and find yourself you now have more in number of a particular token. So, and this is what we did, right, ladies and gentlemen. And this is how I made my first $1 million. It was through network marketing. It was through employing the 90-day game plan. It was through cryptocurrencies, right? So all of those combined helped me to make my first $1 million. Right? So now the year is 2023. We're at the beginning of the year. My income goal this year, guys, is quite crazy. I'm not even sure if I should tell you, but my income goal is quite crazy. And guess what I'm employing? The very same tactics. Right now, with a much more renewed vigor, with a much more renewed, strategic intent. Right now, I'm going to utilize many online tools to basically scale my business, because how we scaled our business was through traveling throughout the country, hosting seminars, teaching people. Now we're going to do a lot of this online. And we're going to employ, a few tactics to basically scale the business even outside of South Africa, to make sure that we reach our income goal. So, and here's a caveat. Right now, I have a mentor who in the network marketing space, is really the Ronaldo of, the network marketing space, because, this particular person is the second highest earner in the network marketing space. He's earning over $1.2 million every single month through network marketing. And that's the kind of mentorship I never had when I made my first $1 million. So can you imagine now with that particular mentorship, how much money we're going to be able to earn? And guess what? I'm going to update everybody. I'm going to do at least maybe once a month, talk about, how far I am. There is a business that I am promoting right now as an affiliate. And, I'll be sharing with you my journey. We're going to be sharing with you some of the tactics that we're employing, just in case there's anyone out there who is either considering network marketing or affiliate marketing, or is in network marketing and affiliate marketing, but hasn't really seen great results. We're going to be sharing with you what is that we're doing and how you can employ the same tactics to make sure that you explode your business. Right now, in this day and age, right, slow and steady does not win the race. Slow and steady does not win the race. You want to make money, you want to make money fast, right? And because in this day and age, there is tools, there's system that you can use to basically scale your business. And if those tools are there and the skills are there, the mentorship and the guidance is there, why not make use of such to make sure that you earn your first $1 million, your first $10 million, your first $100 million, whatever the case is, right? So stay tuned and make sure that you click on the notification bell, subscribe to our channel so that you never miss any of the videos that we're going to be shooting, telling you and showing you what is that we're doing and what is it that we have done that has enabled us to earn this amount of money through the affiliate marketing system and network marketing. Thank you very much. Stay blessed and cheers.